गुड मॉर्निंग स्टूडेंट्स। मैं डॉक्टर कृष्णा मिश्रा, एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर जूलॉजी, सम्राट पृथ्वीराज चौहान, राजकीय महाविद्यालय अजमेर। स्टूडेंट्स, हम पिछले लेक्चर में गैस लिक्विड क्रोमेटोग्राफी के बारे में बात कर रहे थे। आज इसी टॉपिक को कंटिन्यू करते हुए मैं कॉलम्स से स्टार्ट कर रही हूँ। कॉलम्स क्या होते हैं? किसी भी गैस एफिशिएंसी ऑफ एनी गैस क्रोमेटोग्राफ, इट इज़ वेरी मच डिपेंडेंट ऑन द कॉलम्स which are used in gas liquid chromatography, which may be of glass or metal. These columns, they are mainly of two types, packed columns and another one are tubular column. किस किस प्रकार के होते हैं? दो तरीके के होते हैं। एक तो पैक्ड कॉलम्स होते हैं और दूसरे वाले जो हैं वो ओपन या फिर ट्यूबुलर टाइप के, कैपिलरी टाइप के कॉलम्स होते हैं। पैक्ड कॉलम्स क्या होते हैं? दीज कॉलम्स, पैक्ड कॉलम्स, दे कैन अकोमोडेट लार्जर samples and they are generally more convenient to use. They are normally 2 to 3 meter long and have inside diameter of 2 to 4 millimeter. The tubes are ordinarily formed as coils with diameters of roughly 15 centimeter to permit convenient thermostating in an oven. The packing or support for a column hold the liquid stationary phase in place so that the surface area exposed to the mobile phase is as large as possible. यानी कि इनका अरेंजमेंट इस तरीके से होता है कि जो सरफेस एरिया जो है कि मोबाइल फेस के लिए जो एक्सपोज्ड सरफेस एरिया जो है वो जितना बड़ा हो सके, जितना संभव हो सके उतना लार्ज होना चाहिए। द आइडियल पार्टिकल साइज ऑफ पैकिंग मटेरियल फॉर गैस क्रोमेटोग्राफी इज इन द रेंज ऑफ 60 to 80 मैश, that is 250 to 170 micrometer, or 80 to 100 mesh, that is 170 to 149 micrometer. Capillary columns, they are generally made up of glass or fused silica. ये किसके बने होते हैं? ग्लास या फ्यूज्ड सिलिका के बने होते हैं। These columns, they have inside diameter of 0.25 to 0.50 millimeter and length of 25 to 100 meter. Silica capillaries, which have much thinner walls than their glass or metal counterparts, have outside diameter of about 0.3 millimeter. Now column oven, जैसा कि नाम से ही पता चल रहा है, कॉलम जो है उसको हीट करने के लिए कॉलम ओवन्स होते हैं। The oven used in GLC is usually having a high precision thermostat to control the temperature of the column fitted inside the oven to get the reproducible retention time. Range of temperature, it may vary from 0 to 400 degrees Celsius. Now important component, it is detector. Detectors, they are very sensitive and respond quickly to minutes concentration of solute exciting the columns. Detectors have the linear response, stable and uniform response for a wide variety of chemical species. There are many types of detectors available: thermal conductivity, gas density, flame ionization, beta ionization, photoionization, glow discharge, flame temperature, dielectric constant. Now we will come to discuss one by one. First is thermal conductivity detector. This is also called as catharometer. This is made up of 4 filaments arranged in an electric bridge network. The carrier gas flowing around these filaments through cavities. The temperature of filament, it is determined by the rate of heat loss by conduction through the carrier gas. As the component elute out from the column, the composition of gas changes with the consequent changes in the thermal conductivity. This in turn, it produces change in the temperature of filaments, which generate electric output from the bridge circuit. What is the merit of This type of detector, thermal conductivity detector, they are very simple. They can be used in all applications and they are non-destructive and thus suitable for preparative fraction collection work. What are the limitation of these conductor? They are having low resistance and low sensitivity. Now second type of detector, it is flame ionization detectors. These are more popular detector due to its high sensitivity, wide range and greater reliability. It responds only to the organic compounds. ये केवल organic compounds के लिए respond करते हैं. It works on the principle that most organic compounds when pyrolyzed in a hot flame produce ionic intermediates that conduct electricity through the flame. It consists of a small hydrogen flame burning in an excess of air and surrounded by an electrostatic field. Column effluent is mixed with hydrogen entering the burner. Organic components eluted from the column are burnt producing CO2. During this oxidation process, some ionizing particles and electron are formed as intermediate products of oxidation. These ionizing particles, they are quantitatively proportional to the amount of carbon in original compounds. These ionizing particles, they are collected and neutralized by the polarizing electrodes, generating an electric current which is picked up by the electrometer and they forms a peak on the recording chart. The ionization detector, they exhibits a high sensitivity, that is 10 to 13 gram per ml, a large linear response and low noise. It is also rugged and easy to use. It responds only to organic compounds. What are the limitation of these detectors? That 5 ppb for light hydrocarbon gases and 10 picograms for the higher organic liquids and gases. When column temperature of 200 degrees Celsius or higher is used, the practical detection limit is about 1 nanogram, that is 10 to the power minus 7 to 10 to the power minus 8 gram. Disadvantage is that it destroys the sample. Then next is the modified flame ionization detector. It is also called as thermo-ionic alkali flame detector. In this case, an alkali metal salt is added to the flame to enhance the ionization of compounds containing phosphorus, chloride and nitrogen. The salts, mainly phosphate and halides of sodium, sodium, potassium or CS, are fed to the flame by fixed wire or by heated capillary or by pellet fastened to the jet. Salts should be replaced when they are consumed. Fourth is the electron capture detector. It is based on the principle of electron capturing by various substances being sensed, which cause a reduction in the ion current. Chemicals containing an electronegative elements or groups, they have a strong affinity for the electrons. In the gaseous state, they tend to capture electrons to form negative ions. Exposing these compounds to a source of low energy electrons forms the basis of an extremely sensitive selective detector for such compounds. The radioactive source employed for ECD, it includes tritium and Ni63. Methane or argon are also used as quench gases mixed with carrier gas to reduce the energy. Now, non-radioactive sources. Glow discharge in helium, high sensitivity and high operating temperature, that is 400 degrees Celsius in all types of ECDs. More important is specificity and selectivity than sensitivity. Now, capturing compounds compounds which do not contain electromagnetic groups, they should go undetected. Advantage, they are very highly sensitivity, having high sensitivity and specificity for molecules such as oxygen, halogen gas, oxygen containing and halogen containing compounds which have high electron affinities. Fifth detector, it is nitrogen phosphorus detector. This detector, it is very sensitive and a specific detector. It is highly responsive to organic compounds containing nitrogen. केवल जो नाइट्रोजन कंटेनिंग ऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स हैं उन्हीं के लिए रेस्पॉन्सिव होते हैं. और फॉस्फोरस सेंसर इन दिस डिटेक्टर, इट इज़ मेड अप ऑफ रुबिडियम और सीसियम बीड contained inside a small heater coil. One side of the detector has the anode. The heated alkali rubidium sulfate emits electrons by the thermoionic emissions, which are collected at the anode and thus produce ions. When a solute containing nitrogen or phosphorus is eluted, the partially combusted nitrogen and phosphorus material, they are adsorbed on the surface of the bead. This adsorbed material reduces the work function of the surface, and as consequence the emission of electron it is increased, which raises the anode current. The sensitivity of the NPD, it is about 10 to 12 grams per ml for phosphorus and 10 to 11 grams per ml for the nitrogen. Now, what are the stationary phases of GLC? गैस लिक्विड क्रोमेटोग्राफी के लिए स्टेशनरी फेजेस. हंड्रेड्स ऑफ लिक्विड हैव बीन प्रपोज्ड एज स्टेशनरी फेजेस इन द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ GLC. The important factors governing the selection of a liquid phase are its polarity and operational temperature range. The latter can be determined from tables or suppliers. From practical point of view, the greater the polarity of the liquid stationary phase, the greater the retention of a polar solute relative to that of a non-polar solute with a similar boiling point. Like is dissolved by like is the general rule. Thus, if sample components are similar in chemical structure but have different volatilities, a non-polar liquid phase, it is generally better. Conversely, the components have different functional groups but are similar boiling points, then polar phases is generally more suitable. These stationary phases are mainly of two types, polar and non-polar stationary phases. First of all, polar or selective stationary phases. Mainly they contain functional groups such as CN, CO or OH. These phases, they include polyethylene glycol and polyester, which retain polar solutes. These phases separate solute molecules on the basis of functional groups. Selective stationary phases show selective retention for carbon-carbon double bond. Such phases, they are used to separate carbonyls, lactones and fatty acid esters. Non-polar or non-selective phases, they are generally hydrocarbon type, that is dialkali siloxane, such as methyl silicones, appenes, graces and squalene. They tend to fractionate solute by BP boiling point, generally used for the triglyceride. All type of stationary phases, they have following properties. They are low volatility, that ideally boiling point of the liquid should be at 100 degrees Celsius, higher than the maximum operating temperature of the column. Second is thermal stability. Third is chemical inertness, and fourth is solvent characteristics. Some common liquid stationary phases, they are polydimethyl siloxane, phenyl polydimethyl siloxane, polyethylene glycol, cyanopropyl polydimethyl siloxane. Then conditioning of the column. To remove the low molecular weight residues from the stationary phase so as to maintain the minimum bleed of liquid phase throughout the working range of temperature. This is normally accomplished by heating the column to a temperature about 20 to 30 degrees Celsius above its proposed operating temperature, with a stream of carrier gas passing through it. This is essential to ensure that the complete removal of any solvent, water, or volatile contaminants that may have been retained during the preparation of the column material. Derivatives for GLC. Most common derivatization is done prior to gas chromatography, which makes the sample more volatile. For example, methyl esterase, both acidic and basic catalyst, they are used for esterification reaction of fatty acids and fats. Then ethers, the silyl ethers, they are preferred for partial glycerides, sterols, and carbohydrates, etc. 2,4-DNPH, volatile carbonyl compounds, they are important flavor compounds in foodstuffs, accounting for flavor and off flavor. These are converted to their 2,4-dinitrophenyl hydrozones. So this was all about gas liquid chromatography. Thank you.